been 1,000 years since the great root has risen, known as the cyst. Many have fallen on this battlefield looking to harvest their vegetables, to feed their great armies and conquer the lands. As dusk turns to morning, the Yaardgiard gnomes, known as the Red Ribbon Society, make their way onto the field looking for their daily vegetable quota. But the Fungivorous Herd look to root out any competition and use the vegetables to feed their ever-growing herd. With the mycelium marauders growing stronger by the day, the Yaardgiard must try and do whatever they can to try and stop this threat. Will Saint Gnomestifer of the Yaardgiards be able to protect his gnomes and lead them to glory? Or will Todd and the Fungivorous Herd go hog wild in this week's battle report of Turnip28? Hey, how's it going? Mike from Mike Rolls Dice, and welcome back for another battle report of Turnip28. Today we're playing the scenario Crossing the Dredge, and Rev has returned with his Yaardgiard playing as the Red Ribbon Society against the Fungivorous Herd that I'm playing today, and my new hog minis. Real quick, thank you to everyone who watches the channel here, all of our YouTube members, everyone who supports the channel. Really means a lot, and we couldn't do without you folks. Alright, let's get into the list. Starting off with the Red Ribbon Society, Rev is playing today. So Rev is playing the Red Ribbon Society today, his Yaardgiard gnomes, and they have their special Tuft token ability that they can spend. Starting off, we have a Toady leading a 6-man unit of brutes. They're pretty decent in close quarters combat. They're equipped with close quarters combat weapons. Next up, we have a unit of Chaff that is being led by his Toff. They are equipped with missile weapons, and they have the ability to act as skirmishers on the battlefield. The Toff, the leader that Rev is playing today, is Saint Gnomestifer, who's looking to lead his gnomes to a victorious battle. Follow me, gnomes, for I am Saint Gnomestifer. Let the light of the vegetables guide us in our journey. Saint Gnomestifer is also leading a 12 gnome unit of fodder, and these are equipped with close combat weapons. They have the fearless ability if there's more than 8 models in the unit. Get the vegetables! Next up, we have a Toady leading a stump gun, which has 2 different shot profiles, by the way, and if it accrues too many pins, it blows up. And then we have a Toady leading a unit of whelps, and they are equipped with missile weapons, and they have the ability to dash after executing their order. Alright, that's Rev's Yaardgiards. Moving on to my Fungivorous Herd. So one thing to note is I need to stop zooming in all the time. It's something that I'm going to start correcting, but I completely botched the filming, so I had to refilm this in my backyard so you get to see them outside in their full glory. Today I'm playing the Fungivorous Herd, and I have my Toff model, Todd, who is not leading his usual band of his folly, but is joining the Fungivorous Herd today. And he is leading 2 units of Chaff. They are equipped with black powder weapons, and they have the skirmisher ability, making it harder for other units to hit them.
We shall be victorious today, my mycelium marauders.
And because it's the Fungivorous Herd, we have a Toady next up that is leading a unit of Herd. Now the Herd starts with 4 models, and every time they take a dangerous terrain test, for every successful dice that passes, they get an additional hog. For every 1, they lose 1. And they have a maximum of 12 hogs. So we'll see if the hogs can try and eat all of the vegetables from the Yaardgiard. And I'll try my best to make sure the hogs destroy the Yaardgiard's gardens and eat all of their vegetables. Last but not least, we have 2 Toadies leading 2 units of Bastards. The Bastards are mounted units. They have quite a lot of attacks in close quarters combat, and they have some decent movement as well as 2 wounds. And they cause a unit to re-roll any successful panic tests when they charge. Alright, well, that's my Fungivorous Herd today. We'll see if the herd can grow to a great size and take out the Yaardgiard.
Remember, do not show them any quarter today on the battlefield. We shall crush them under our mushrooms.
So for the mission today, we're playing Crossing the Dredge, which is the 3rd and final scenario in the basic rulebook for Turnip28. And we are playing version 18, by the way. And I won the roll-off as the herd. We took turns placing our terrain here. So we have 4 pieces of dangerous terrain, 2 on either side. and then a defensible piece of terrain in the middle. And on each piece of terrain, we've placed an objective, aka vegetable patches, and these are new prized vegetables that the Yaardgiard are looking to get their hands on to improve their declining vegetable crops. But the Fungivorous Herd are looking to feed and grow their hogs at any cost, including spoiling the Yaardgiard's plans. So both of us have deployed our armies on the field here, and a couple things before we start the game. Rev does have a stump gun on the field, so there is going to be a preparatory bombardment, and he will be getting a farmer and some tough tokens. The Yaardgiard have a stump gun, and they are going to do a preliminary bombardment, firing at my unit of bastards. He's going to be shooting the 3-shot profile here. The stump gun is looking for 6s to hit here, being that it does not have a fire order for the preliminary bombardment. Missing, which is a good thing for the Fungivorous Herd, because I wouldn't have gotten a vulnerability save. Now, me and Rev both have skirmisher units. The chaff units, they're going to be doing their vanguard move, essentially being able to move. The Toff will not be able to follow, or the Toady, but we're both choosing to move one of our chaff units closer towards that central objective.
Forward, gnomes! We shall claim these vegetables for the Yaardgiard once and for all!
Alright, and we're about ready to start the game here. We have 4 turns to figure out who can get on the objectives and control them, and who will be able to claim the prized vegetables today.
These gnomes will perish on the battlefield today, men. Today we shall be victorious over these gnomes.
I, Saint Gnomestifer, will lead you gnomes to battle!
And at the start of the game here, the Red Ribbon Society generating 2 tough tokens. That is their home piece of dangerous terrain. Anytime they have a gardener with tough tokens on a piece of dangerous terrain, it will be turned into a defensible piece of terrain for them. Alright, starting off the game here with turn 1, and the Fungivorous Herd have the initiative here. And my Toady is ordering the chaff unit to advance forward and fire at the chaff unit that made its vanguard move earlier. Looking to see if they blunder on a 1. Both the units are going to fire at the same time, being that the gnomes are equipped with missile weapons. And actually looking for 6s into 4s here from improbable shots.
Ready for fire, man.
With 1 successful hit hitting the gnomes, but they make their save. And the chaff getting a black powder token. So now the gnome unit of chaff, still being within range of Saint Gnomestifer, are passing their blunder test, and they are going to move forward into the defensible terrain with Saint Gnomestifer close behind.
Your faith in the vegetables will guide us to victory, gnomes! Forward!
And they're going to fire their missile weapons at the unit of chaff that haven't fired their weapons yet. And both units are going to fire at the same time, because that unit of chaff doesn't have a black powder weapon. Both units missing, but Rev successfully forcing my hand, meaning that chaff unit doesn't get to stand still and fire. So my unit of bastards are activating here. The Toady was going to tell them to go onto the terrain piece, but instead they're going to try and charge the gnomes that just made their way into the center.
Forward, you filthy maggots! Get to crushing those gnomes!
Unfortunately, blundering on the order test, and in response the chaff failed their panic test and are going to flee backwards onto a piece of dangerous terrain, now having to take a dangerous terrain test.
The riding mushrooms! Run away!
Any 1s here on the dangerous terrain test will be a mini removed, and one of the gnomes falls into a gopher hole and is devoured by gophers.
Ah!
And the brutes only getting 1 dice to charge here. They do have 12 inches, so they're going to move 13 inches here and actually getting onto the central objective. The Toady following fast behind them, keeping their mind on the objective. Moving over dangerous terrain, though, they are going to have to take a dangerous terrain test.
Forward!
Where'd the gnomes go?
You fools! You let them escape!
They was here just a second ago, though, boss.
But luckily, the mushrooms successfully make it past the gopher holes.
Hold your ground, gnomes. Do not retreat.
So now the gnomes with the stump gun are going to be firing at the bastards that have taken the defensible position in the center here. Rev passing his blunder test, and he's firing the 3-shot profile, looking for 5s here with the fire order. And being that this shot profile doesn't allow a vulnerability save, one of the bastards are taken out and are now going to flee, being that they lost the shooting engagement. And fleeing off of the objective afterwards.
You idiots, stop running away!
So now the herd are going to activate here. Now the hogs, anytime they pass into dangerous terrain, they will take a dangerous terrain test and hopefully grow. Rolling to blunder here, and they do blunder, so they aren't going to get their full move distance, unfortunately. But they are going to roll 1 dice for their movement here. And with a movement of 6, they're moving 8 inches. Getting on the dangerous terrain here, they are going to have to take their tests. Making their tests for the herd here and passing all of the dangerous terrain tests, the herd now doubles in size.
Yes, my hogs. Prepare for the feast. Yes!
So Rev is looking to activate the whelps, and it looks like everybody's blundering now, so he's not going to be getting the reduction to his inaccuracy here. So they're looking for 5s to hit with their missile weapons. And getting all 4 hits here, and with a failed vulnerability roll, losing one of the hogs here. Now they did lose the shooting engagement, so they are going to need to retreat, and it looks like they're going to retreat off of the terrain here. But this is a positive here, because now I get to take another dangerous terrain test and grow the herd.
Get back here, you stupid pigs! It's impossible to control these things!
So the way it works is you grow the herd first, and then you take away any models from the failed test. So adding more hogs here, and then taking one away from the failed test. But just like that, the hogs have now grown to their maximum capacity of 12.
Forward! Get ready, you mushroom-riding bastards!
So now the bastards are being ordered here to advance forward. They're just going to move. They pass their blunder test, and they move up near the objective. They're not on it, but not looking to take a dangerous terrain test and lose any models. But they do successfully make it up to it. And now the unit of brutes are looking to move forward here.
Forward, gnomes!
Rev is going to pass his blunder test, just moving forward and getting the brutes in position for a potential charge at a later turn.
Yeah! Get ready to beat 'em up, gnomes! We're gonna get 'em good.
And moving his toady along with him. So now I'm going to take the unit of chaff here for the Fungivorous Herd, and I'm looking to move them onto that piece of dangerous terrain with the objective to the right. They're passing their blunder test, and they are just running, moving onto the objective here. They do need to take a dangerous terrain test though. But luckily they pass their dangerous terrain test and don't lose any of their models. So now Rev is looking to get as much movement as possible here. He's running with the unit of brutes. He's running with the unit of fodder here equipped with close combat weapons and moving up towards that objective. And that's the end of turn 1 here. All of the armies have pushed up, but Rev being able to slow down some of the chaff units by taking some fire from the black powder weapons. The Yaardgiards do control that one objective by that dangerous terrain piece right there, and the Fungivorous Herd managing to take the central objective with the bastards earlier and the one dangerous terrain piece with the chaff. Now, one thing to note is every time I receive a panic token, the Red Ribbon Society is getting a tough token. So Rev managing to accrue 6 tough tokens in this first turn. Alright, and with that, that's the end of turn 1, and we're moving on to the start of turn 2. So at the start of turn 2 here, Rev is getting a additional farmer with 2 tough tokens. He gets a free one at the start of every turn. This piece of terrain is now a defensible terrain as well. And he's up to 8 tough tokens now, because he had 6 at the end of last turn. So now he's going to spend his 8 tough tokens and eat his vegetables, now increasing the wounds for all of the models by 1. So now the fodder, which had 1 wound each, go up to 2 wound models. So it's going to add a significant buff to the army overall. So now the Fungivorous Herd is starting off here, and they are going to be charging with the unit of brutes charging into the chaff. The chaff passed their panic test, and the brutes are going to fight into the chaff.
Hold your ground, gnomes. Don't give them an inch.
One thing to note is the chaff are equipped with missile weapons, so they are going to fire at the bastards as they are charging in here, and the chaff are looking for 5s to hit with the missile weapons. But the bastards successfully make their vulnerability saves. The farmers do get additional tough tokens though due to the accrued panic token. And now the bastards are going to fight, hitting on 4s here because they're equipped with close combat weapons or melee weapons. With failed vulnerability saves, the Yaardgiard's chaff is almost taken out, except for the fact that the increase in wounds actually means that one of the gnomes is left alive.
You'll never take me alive. You'll never get the vegetables from the Yaardgiard. Huzzah!
And after failing the melee combat, the single gnome is going to retreat, luckily passing the dangerous terrain test.
Never mind, run away! Screw this! I don't get paid enough for this.
So Rev is activating his unit of fodder in the center here, and they're looking to charge my bastards in the center.
Ready, gnomes. Prepare yourselves for combat.
Now they do fail their blunder test, so they're only going to get 1d6 for the charge. And my bastards unfortunately failed the panic test. Now they are going to panic and retreat quite a distance away outside of the defensible terrain, and the fodder now make it up to the defensible terrain, right near the objective.
Very good, gnomes. If you have faith in the vegetables, they shall show you the true light.
So now I'm activating my Toff here, but before he is going to issue his order, he sees Saint Gnomestifer out on the battlefield and issues a Toff-off against him.
I, Todd, leader of the Fungivorous Herd, challenge you, Saint Gnomestifer, to a tough-off.
And after finding a nice place for a picnic, the 2 Toffs are going to fight it out to the death.
You fool! You will never get your hands on the holy vegetables.
Both Toffs are hitting on 5s here, and a vulnerability of 5 as well. But with Todd, my toady only with 2 wounds, and Saint Gnomestifer with 3 wounds, being that they have the vegetable buff. And after a grueling back and forth, Saint Gnomestifer is taken out in combat, and Todd is victorious.
You fool. You cannot stop the Fungivorous Herd. The cyst grows stronger by the minute.
After a delightful picnic, Todd can go back to his unit of chaff, ordering them to stand still and fire. And firing at the unit of fodder, looking for 4s to hit, getting 2 hits here, and with 3 failed saves, only losing 1 gnome, being that they have 2 wounds now from the fodder, and taking another wound on another gnome.
Very good, men. I have taken out their leader. Now we shall crush their vegetables.
Rev looking to activate now with the unit of whelps in the far corner here, looking to move forward and fire at my lone toady. They actually have range with their missile weapons to stay still and fire. They're firing at one of my toadies on the center. Fortunately missing. So now the herd unit is looking to activate here. They are technically within range to charge here.
Now, herd, you have grown. Feast on the gnome's flesh. Charge! Do not flee, gnomes. We shall just eat them like bacon.
The fodder do pass their panic test and don't flee. And the herd, unfortunately, doesn't get enough of a movement roll, but I am going to get 2 dangerous terrain tests here.
Move it, hogs! Forward! Damn it, why are you so slow?
And after some dangerous terrain tests here, actually ending up losing some herd models. But I gotta get the hogs towards the points to start eating those vegetables. So now Rev activating here, and he's going to be firing with his stump gun. Choosing the grape shot profile, rolling for the amount of shots, and getting 10 shots here. And he's looking to fire at the hogs that have just moved on to that piece of terrain. With quite a lot of shots rolled for the grape shot profile, with 3 hits here and 2 failed vulnerability saves, 2 of the hogs are taken out. With the Yaardgiard already getting 5 panic tokens throughout the round. And now losing the combat, they have to flee with 3 pins, and rolling a 6, they're going to have to run through, running over the dangerous terrain as well as running over a friendly unit. They need to take 2 dangerous terrain tests.
These damn pigs keep running away! You stupid hogs!
And after being whittled down, the herd actually grows in size. Ending up with 9 herd models after all of the kerfuffle. I'm taking the bastards here and charging into the brutes now. Rolling for the blunder test, and they successfully pass. And then they're going to roll their charge distance. Getting 15 inches here, they make it into combat. They need to take a dangerous terrain test here, and they're going to charge into the unit of brutes and look to take them out in close quarters combat.
Forward, you maggots! Tear them to shreds!
Unfortunately, failing one of the dangerous terrain tests and losing one of the valuable bastard models. I'm looking for 4s to hit for the bastards. With the brutes fighting back, looking for 4s to hit as well, they actually managed to take out the 2 brutes and win the combat. With the vegetable buff, those brutes are quite tough. Now the brutes are activating after taking out the bastards. They are feeling quite confident, and they're charging into my toady here. That is a piece of defensible terrain because they have their gardeners on there, so they don't need to take a dangerous terrain test.
You know what to do, gnomes. Get these intruders away from our vegetable patches. For the vegetables shall guide us into the future.
And again, looking for 4s to hit. And with too many failed vulnerability saves, the toady is taken out with ease. So now the unit of chaff here are being ordered by my other toady that was leading the herd previously. They're passing their order. They're going to stay still and fire at the fodder unit that's by the defensible terrain. And with 4 failed saves, 2 more gnomes being taken out. That vegetable buff has proven to be quite a nuisance for the Fungivorous Herd. One thing to note is we did forget to retreat with Rev here for losing the shooting engagement. Rev activating his lone gnome from the chaff here, passing their blunder test, and moving on to the defensible position.
Don't worry, my gnome brothers and sisters. I have decided to return. For now, we shall win the battle because of me.
And with that, that is the end of turn 2 here. The gnomes are whittling down the Fungivorous Herd, but the herd keeps growing in size. See if the hogs can get in combat, do some damage. The Yaardgiard are making good use of their vegetable tokens and I am not doing a good job of targeting their farmers. Alright, and with that, that is the end of turn 2, and we're moving on to the start of turn 3. Start of turn 3 here, Rev is now getting an additional farmer on this piece of dangerous terrain. And spending 8 tough tokens again, he's going to give all of his units a movement buff, as well as decreasing their inaccuracy by 1. And the Fungivorous Herd is up first, and the unit of chaff are going to stay still and fire at one gnome from the Yaardgiard chaff unit, looking to take him out.
You fools! It's one stupid gnome! Take him out!
Unfortunately, because it is a chaff unit, I do need 6s into 4s here, which I forgot about. And unfortunately, the gnome is left being safe on the defensible terrain. Rev is ordering his unit of whelps to advance forward here, and they're going to be taking their missile weapons, firing at my toady, the mushroom toady that is right in front of them. Now they do have a dash move they could take after, so he's not moving onto the terrain yet, so he can get the most amount of shots.
There he is, gnomes! Get him down!
Now, normally looking for 5s to hit with the missile weapons, but with the inaccuracy buff hitting on 4s and the toady failing in its vulnerability saves, it gets taken out. And the whelps using their dash action now to move onto the dangerous terrain, but claim that pumpkin patch for the Yaardgiard. And with Rev passing all of his dangerous terrain tests as well. So now my Toph is going to be ordering the unit of chaff to stay still and fire at the unit of fodder with the close combat weapons.
Ready, men! Prepare a volley towards the gnomes. Fire!
Looking for 5s to hit, they get 2 hits here, and with 2 failed saves, taking out one of the 2 wounded gnomes. So now the stump gun is looking to fire here. It's going to be firing at the toady in the center. And they're looking to fire at my toady that's in the defensible terrain in the center by the objective. Passing their blunder test first. Firing the grape shot profile and rolling for the amount of shots here. And with failed saves, the toady is taken out off the central objective. Not that the toadies can capture objectives, because they're useless. Now Rev activating here, and he's looking to charge with his unit of brutes. Rev looking to charge with the unit of brutes here and rolling the distance, unfortunately not getting enough distance here. He is charging towards my chaff unit with the Toph.
Let's beat him up!
But they'll be getting into combat next turn. So now my unit of bastards is looking to charge the one chaff in the center.
I think we're supposed to charge the gnomes.
Forward, you morons!
Bastard rolling its blunder test first, and then the chaff rolling its panic test. After failing the panic test, it's going to be fleeing quite a long distance, being that it had so many panic tokens and rolled a 6 here, and the brutes are going to chase right after it. Unfortunately not making it into base contact, not taking out the gnome. And now the fleeing gnome, hearing the brutes on mushrooms behind him, turns around and fires a quick shot with his crossbolt. Unfortunately not doing any significant damage. So now the herd can smell the whelps on their mounts, and they are getting quite hungry now, and they are looking to charge into the whelps.
Go, my herd. Feast on their flesh.
Rolling for the charge distance on the herd here. The whelps get a reaction fire first, unfortunately missing, and before they know it, the hogs cross 2 pieces of dangerous terrain as they look to make it into base contact. Rolling the test for the herd here, seeing if they grow. The herd unfortunately not making it into base contact, They'll be looking to eat up the gnomes next turn. So now the unit of fodder in the center are making an about face. They're charging into the squad of bastards that was chasing the chaff.
About face gnomes! Forward! Charge to victory!
With the fodder now hitting on 4s, being equipped with melee weapons and getting their inaccuracy buff. With a failed vulnerability roll, one of the brutes is taken out. Brutes will be fighting back here. And after losing the melee combat, starts to flee, moving towards the edge of the board.
Screw this. These gnomes are scary.
And with that is the end of turn 3. Things are moving quick. The Yaardgiard are starting to claim territory on the field, and the Fungivorous Herd is starting to whittle in size. Will my Todd be able to rally his troops, or will the Yaardgiard claim their victory? Alright, and with that is the end of turn 3, and we're moving on to the last turn of the game here, with the start of turn 4. So now, Rev has 5 tough tokens, and we didn't know if this was allowed, and we didn't know if this was actually the way it was supposed to work, but I checked on the Discord on Turnip28, and yes, you are allowed to spend tough tokens on the same buff twice. So he's decreasing the inaccuracy again, meaning that certain units can be hitting on 2s now with the right scenario. And my Toph is ordering his chaff unit to fire at the brutes that are right in front of him as they are in imminent danger.
Don't just stand there. Do something, damn it.
Normally hitting on 5, but with the fire order, looking for 4 to hit. Getting 2 hits on 4s here, staying still, and Rev losing some brutes from the fire. Now Rev is activating his unit of whelps. They're going to be firing at the herd that's right in front of them. They pass their blunder test first, and they could hear the screeching sounds of the hogs and want to try and whittle them down before they get overrun by the beasts. And the herd looking for 6s on their vulnerability rolls. Failing 2 of the rolls here, they do lose 2 of the herd. Now, I did lose the shooting engagement, another instance we forgot where I was supposed to retreat. But it's our 3rd game, and we're still learning. And getting an additional panic token, Rev getting another tough token. So now Rev's going to be charging with the unit of brutes that just were fired upon by the chaff. The chaff passed their panic test, and the brutes are going to try to slaughter them in close quarters combat.
Yeah! Get 'em! Get the vegetables!
Brutes normally hitting on 5, but being equipped with close quarters, hitting on 4, and then with the -2 inaccuracy buff, they now go up to hitting on 2s. And they successfully take out 3 of the chaff, and the remaining chaff retreats as they lost combat. So now Rev activating again, being that I don't have any toadies to order any units, and the stump gun firing at my Toph.
Prepare for fire, gnomes. Ready the cannon of doom. Fire!
Unfortunately, rolling 1s here, accruing too many panic tokens, not getting any successful hits, and blowing up the stump gun.
Run away! It blew up! Oh no!
So now the herd that have been whittled down here, they're looking to charge into the unit of whelps.
Now, my herd! Charge!
Pass their blunder test, and after moving forward, the herd grows, actually gaining almost 6 models here, and now they're going to charge into the unit of whelps.
Oh no! Killer pigs! Run away!
Getting 2 attacks each and hitting on 4s. And with quite a lot of attacks here, and a significant amount of vulnerability fails, Rev losing the unit of whelps as the herd devours them. And being that there are no friendly units on the piece of dangerous terrain, the herd also devours the farmer for the Yaardgiard. So now Rev is ordering a unit here, his chaff unit.
Well, I shall do the job myself.
They're going to charge into the brute. The brute rolling for his panic test. He does fail and he flees, fleeing off the board.
Well, I'm out of here.
And now my unit of chaff without any toady, they're going to stay still and fire at the unit of fodder. And looking for 5s to hit. Getting one hit on a 6 here, and with a failed save, taking out one of the gnomes that was wounded. Again, the gnomes lost the shooting engagement. I believe they were supposed to retreat here. Now Rev is taking the fodder, and he's going to about face.
Forward, gnomes!
Passing his blunder test, he's rolling his charge, charging into my unit of chaff. They're going to have to take a dangerous terrain test, as there's no farmers on that terrain piece.
Now is our chance. We shall crush them for the Yaardgiard gnomes. We will take their vegetables, and we will be victorious on this day. Yeah, get 'em!
And 2 of the gnomes are taken out in the gopher holes. And now the fodder are looking to hit here. They are equipped with close combat weapons. They're going to be hitting on 3s here with the buffs. And failing all of the vulnerability saves, the gnomes crush the chaff unit in combat.
That's right! Take that! We're the Yaardgiard!
And with that, that is the end of the game here. The Yaardgiard have managed to secure quite a lot of objectives. There is sticky objectives in this game. You do control them after moving off, so Rev does control the majority of the objectives here. Now with the majority of the Fungivorous Herd taken out, the Yaardgiard could take their time to harvest whatever vegetables they want, trying to add some variety with some new vegetables to their dwindling vegetable gardens back home. Those tough tokens with the gnomes, man, they really do some work here. I was surprised that that's how it works, but I think it's really on me to try and target the farmers, so lesson learned, next time those farmers are going down. This was a really fun scenario, and the Fungivorous Herd was a lot of fun. I think I'm going to swap out some of the black powder skirmishers to missile weapon skirmishers, and next time put the herd in the center where I can really get them to good use, because I kind of threw them off in the corner for this game.
Not again. I have been defeated once more.
Damn you, Yaardgiard. I hate you gnomes. I'll get you next time.
Alright, well, my name's Mike from Mike Rolls Dice. Made a couple little mistakes here. This is our 3rd game of Turnip28. We're having a lot of fun with it. I convinced Rev to print up another army, maybe something a little bit more Napoleon themed, and I'm going to be working on some additional armies as well. So we plan on making plenty more Turnip28 battle reports here in the future. Alright, well, we have a ton of Conflict 47 content coming out here as the new Invasion America release is out, as well as some other games we're going to be featuring on the channel. Again, my name is Mike from Mike Rolls Dice. Thank you again for tuning in, and until the next battle report, keep rolling high on those dice.